Hi, welcome to the Pet Healer Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Mitsie Vargas, and today I have my guest, Marco Maguiolo, and he was here before, and it was a very popular show, and I still get questions about that show, so I figure what better idea just to bring Marco back and have a conversation. In case you missed that episode, you can always go back, subscribe, and you can always go back and review our episodes. But Marco Maguiolo is a veterinarian from Brazil, and his master degree is in animal behavior. And he is a trainer and competitor with agility. Has been part of the Brazil team and USA team in competitions around the world. So he's a very experienced handler, trainer, and obviously animal lover. And so, because he works right now with us, associated with Orchid Springs Animal Hospital as a trainer and animal behaviorist, I wanted to bring him over because at this point in time, we just passed our holidays, and a lot of people received pets as gifts. And that in itself is a concept we need to maybe touch on, uh, giving pets as gifts. But now that the pets in the household, but these puppies, there's a plethora of things that are going on. New older dogs, and you're adding a new puppy behavior, uh, desensitization, so that we get a good pet, training. There's so much things to do right now than these kitten. Well, we're gonna focus on dogs today, but these puppies are in the household now. Um, Ideally, we could have intervened before and make a couple of key questions to those people that acquire pets for Christmas and the holidays. So, Marco, first of all, let's just start with that point. What's your point of view as a behaviorist and interested in the welfare of the animals in regards to giving pets as gifts?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me here again. I'm very happy that you invite me again. Yeah, this is a very sensitive topic, especially when you go to this time of year, holidays. We see a lot of people giving puppies as gifts, presents to kids, and all that. And by law, puppies are a possession. You buy them. Even if you adopt them, they are a possession. Like your own of them. It's like any other thing you have, like a car, a TV, or whatever. But we need to remember that there's a life there. So I really, I don't like to generalize,
Yeah.
speak like, because there's like people who know how to deal with the situation, but most part of the time, it's not a good idea to use like a puppy for a Christmas present or something like that, because the family is not prepared for that, and kids normally they're not prepared for that, and with time you see some bad results coming
Yeah.
from there,
So
abandon and even euthanasia. We see a lot this time of year, so yeah.
yeah, so one of the things that we don't want is to receive a pet for Christmas and then return it to the shelter in January, which is what happens in a lot of the cases.
Yeah.
And the reason is because they use the gift as a surprise. So I feel like you can't always generalize because there are people that know what they're doing. But the way to do it is to consult
Yeah.
with the family that's going to receive the pet, in my opinion, to consult with them, what kind of pet, what time you have available for the pet. I mean, even what financial resources you have.
Yes.
Because as a veterinarian, it just hurts my heart to see people that are spending $3,000 and upwards for a puppy. Yet when I tell them we need to do a CBC, or to make sure this puppy's healthy, or it needs this and that, they just I can't afford it. And
Yeah.
so, that's where it comes to me. It's like, wow, you needed to know that this is not just the initial expense, that this is a responsibility and a financial uh, burden, really.
It is, and as you say, most part of the people they think that having a puppy is just buying. It's just like you buy the puppy, you're done. The puppy's at home, and that's it. And it's not like buying any other thing. You need to realize that puppy will need medical care. You will need like food. You need like all other kinds of attention and time and all that. And as you say, some people pay like $3,000, $4,000, or even if they don't pay, even
Yeah,
if they
even
go
though.
and adopt a dog and pay like a $50 fee for adoption, whatever, how much they charge, and they bring the puppy home and they think that's it, now is the puppy. When I'm not here, I put the puppy on the side and that's it. But it is not. You
Yeah.
need medical care, like you say. You go, you need to check the puppy's health, and you have the shots, and you have the food, and you need have toys and time, especially time. I think time is something people don't realize they will need to. um, they will need to separate part of their lives for that pet for the next 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
you know and as I say, like, you give a puppy to like a 7, 8 years old kid, in 10 years that kid's not going to be a kid anymore. Is going to be going to college probably, or something like that, and they're probably going to stay home. So our job, I think our job as pet professionals, is trying to tell people that and say, you need to think ahead. And if you're adopting a dog, if you're adopting a puppy, or if you're buying a puppy, no problem. I don't have any problems with buying
Yeah.
puppies, no problem at all. But there is this whole responsibility ahead of you, and expenses and time and professional help and all that. And people don't realize they want the perfect Christmas present,
Yeah.
and they don't think, okay, what about next month? What about
Yeah.
next year?
They're thinking, I feel they're thinking in postcard moments,
Yes.
oh, like this
Yeah.
gonna make a
Social
great,
medias.
yes, it's gonna make a great Facebook post.
Yeah, social media is like, look what I have for Christmas. It's a
Yeah,
puppy. So
but
it is
nobody's
difficult.
there to clean up after the puppy
Nope.
or
No.
do
Yeah.
discipline or anything.
Yeah,
There's,
and as you know better than me, and you bring the puppy to do the normal shots and blood work and something like that, and it's like $250. Oh my God, $250! It is the normal thing, and it's the money you need to expend every year.
yeah. And I think one of the things for those of you that got puppies or any dog really for Christmas, whether it's an adult or secondhand or shelter rescue, that pet insurance is super important. I have seen it be the big difference between people pursuing treatment and
Hmm.
not. The knowing that they have somebody to reimburse them some of the costs, and so that's a very smart for all of you guys that got puppies or adults, brand new pets into the household this holidays. Please consider pet insurance, and there's so many. uh,
Yes.
10 years ago there weren't any.
No. Yeah, you're right.
Now it's like every month there's a new company, so just do your research out there, call us or call your vet, and compare. But I think that that's a very first step. If you brought a puppy into the home, obviously have it checked by a vet, but do the pet insurance, because it really can save you a bundle, especially the first year of age. There's so many things that can go wrong.
Yes. Yes.
Puppies are just wild sometimes.
It's like kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that struck me, interesting when you said, you know, that by law they are possessions, but obviously we believe they're part of the family, and here we treat them as such. And that's one thing that it struck me like, wow, that's true. Legally, they are
They are.
property. And so it's hard when you see somebody not treating their pet right, and you try to intervene that they are in possession of the pet, and that there's some legalities you have to
Yeah.
follow in order to help that pet. But one of the things that I wanted to talk to you, Marco, is because you're doing a really good job for our clinic coming up. We're going to have a whole team learn the stages of the puppies.
Hmm.
And so I thought, I don't want to be selfish, and I don't want to just do it for my team at all. So I wanted to give it to every listener out there, pet lover, dog lover. Let's just go, over the stages of the puppy. A lot of people think that they want to get a puppy at 6 weeks of age
Mm.
because they figure, oh, they'll imprint on me. and then I'll be their everything.
Mm.
And
You're going a very delicate topic now.
yeah, but let's do these hypotheticals. So
Yeah.
I'll throw you some hypotheticals, and
Sure.
sadly these have been real life experience. So they're not so hypothetical, but let's just say this person comes to me and brings a puppy that is 6 weeks old.
Mm-mm.
And I say, well, how come you have the puppy so early? Because usually by law, really, breeders should wait till 8 weeks of age to sell the puppies. And often some breeders, especially the teacup ones, they don't let them go until they're 10 or 12 weeks. So I just wanted your opinion on what kind of situation are they getting into when they get a puppy, they take it out of the mother. So the mother didn't want to feed him anymore, or they had too many, or something happens to the mother, and you end up with a 6 week old puppy. How can you take that 6 week too early to be out of mama's way puppy and shape him to be a normal, well developed dog?
Yeah, this is a very delicate topic. And I'm gonna give you my professional opinion about it. So the first family of the puppy is not the human family.
Mm-hmm.
The first family is the litter. Is mama and the little brothers and sisters is the litter. That's when you start creating a temperament there. Separate that too early, it will create a lot of behavior problems in the future. Um, I understand, and I know a lot of good breeders, and I understand that keeping a puppy for a longer time is a lot of cost, and I understand that. And they have a business, and it's hard to balance that. So, if you ask me what is the best time to separate a puppy from the litter,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say 10 weeks. But
Okay.
10 weeks is very hard for any breeder to achieve. You cannot hold like a puppy for 10 weeks. And I'm gonna tell you that. I don't know if you know that, but there's a stage of development of puppy they call the first fear period. Okay?
Okay.
And that period happened between 7 and 9 weeks old. Is a natural stage of behavior development, and is the stage where the puppy is too sensitive to everything going around in the world. Okay, so if you think about this period of time, what happened normally that period of time? That's normally when the dog is leaving the real
Yes.
family, the first family, and going to the first human family. So what the owner do at that time with like a 8, 9 weeks old puppy, or even 7, like you said, is just taking this pup everywhere because I need to socialize my puppy, and this puppy is just scared of everything. Okay, so I will say that the best time to separate a puppy from the litter is 10 weeks old, but because I understand that can be a lot of cost for a breeder, a good breeder, I will say 8 is acceptable.
Okay.
But it's acceptable if the owner knows that the puppy is still living. It's like a baby, Just think like that. I don't like to compare puppies with human babies because it's different, Human babies they do logical thinking that puppies they don't do. But think like that, trying to grab like a 4 months old human baby and socialize with the world, expose him to noises and things like that, that baby's not ready yet.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same stage you have with the puppy. So if this owner knows that he needs to wait a little bit and work in the environment and his house first, that's okay. But before 8 weeks, never.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me a lot. I see, and I know breeders sometimes complain with me, send me emails and things like that. But like before 8 weeks, never. A puppy before 8 weeks old, he should be with his first family, having their own natural stage. I would not go to the stages here. There's the transitional stage, there's the neonatal stage, there's a socialization stage, but I'm not going all the stages here because we'll be talking about the stages here for like an hour. But it's important that this puppy has all those like primordial stages with his litter, and that will be partially developed until 8 weeks old. After 8 weeks, I accept and I say, okay, you can go to a human family now. But it's important we tell the people who doesn't know that that between 8 and 10 weeks is like having a baby. You don't start basic obedience until 10 weeks old, because it's like trying to teach again. I will compare with a human baby. He's trying to teach a 6 months old baby to ride a bicycle. Understand? He's not ready yet.
Yeah.
He needs to follow his natural
Development.
development until he's ready. And 1 week for a puppy, it's a lot.
Well, I realize, 7 to 9 weeks is only 2 weeks, and that's amazing, that the mental development that they go through in just 2 weeks.
You have a lot of difference if you deal with like a 6 7 weeks old puppy and with a 9 10 weeks old puppy. You have this completely change of stage, a completely like this 9 10 weeks old puppy. He's much more curious.
Mm-hmm.
He goes for something. He's like, oh, what is that? Let me figure out what is this. A 6 7 weeks old puppy, he's still there with the mama. He's still there. I'm scared of everything. You know, as a doctor, I'm pretty sure you know that like 5 weeks old puppy, they can do their own thermal regulation.
Yeah.
They can die in cold, or with too much heat. So if you go 2 weeks ahead, they already can do it. So like even physically, even clinically speaking, a 2 weeks is a huge gap for a puppy.
Yeah, in development.
Yep.
So in my hypothetical case of this person that brought us, 6-week-old puppy, separated from the mother. So if they have another dog in the house, or in some cases cats, whatever other animal they have in the house, do you think that fostering a close bond between those pets, doing whatever is necessary so that the other pet in the household, hopefully the other pet in the household is open, it's submissive, is, loving and welcoming of the new intruder in the household, but trying to foster a bond with them might somehow help
This is
bridge that?
Yeah, it's very tricky to answer that because it's not a yes or no answer.
Yeah, it depends.
It will depend on the dog you have. We need to remember, think about a 6 weeks old puppy. He's still, by instinct, you look for the mother figure. You still look for that. I'm still baby. I'm not ready for the outside world yet. So when you change the environment and you bring this puppy to an environment with another dog, he might look at that dog as this figure, or even at you, or even at the owner. But is this dog or the person will give the same stimulus to that puppy or not?
Okay.
It depends. Some dogs, and I've seen that, they have amazing mother skills. It's amazing. They just bring the puppy, and it looks they understand that is that puppy's not ready yet to go outside and play. So they just like, okay, come with me here, and I will take care of you. But most part of the dogs, they're not ready for that.
Yeah.
They don't have that experience. I had a female that she had puppies, and every time I bring a puppy at home, she had that instinct. It was amazing because, from my perspective, like she understands and she have been there before.
Yeah.
So she knows how to take care of that puppy. But most part of the dogs, they don't.
Yeah, they're spayed and neuter, hopefully early on.
It's different. Like, think about how different it will be if you bring a 6 weeks old puppy to your house, to your already existent dog there, and a 10 weeks old puppy there.
Yeah.
So the 10 weeks old puppy, we're gonna look to that dog. Well, let's go play.
Yeah.
And the 6 weeks is not. It's gonna be like scared. Where's my mama? Where's my siblings?
Different smells.
Different smells. Yeah. So it will depend a lot on the other dog.
Yeah. That's a good answer. I like your answer. Well, I know you're not going to talk about the developmental stages, in detail, but hopefully you'll, at least mention them. But one of the things that I want to, remind the listeners is that the puppies learn about everything with their nose. Their eyes open at 2 weeks, and then their ears open at 27 days.
Yes.
So they are come to the world, they're deaf and they are blind, but they have their nose. So the olfactory system in dogs and cats are extremely well developed, way bigger, occupying a way bigger area in their brain than on us. But that's how they, at 6 weeks, they can barely hear, they're just gotten their hearing. So that's another change in the development. And so they're just experiencing, it's a lot of, like you say, a lot of stimuli.
Yeah.
a lot of stimuli for some that.
The first stage after they're born, we call neonato. That
Mhm.
is like from Latin, new is new,
Mhm.
like from no new, and nato is like birth, and that phase is like 2 weeks. 2 weeks of it takes 2 weeks to complete that first stage. So, like you say, they cannot see, they cannot hear, but the nose
Mhm.
works,
Mhm.
and they understand that interaction. They are very like cuddly with one mother, they cannot protect themselves. And different than like if you see a baby cow that they
Yeah.
born and just get up,
Yeah, they
because they're
walk.
like, yeah, like, okay, let's see if there's no hunter here. But mammals, they're like, okay, there's no predators for me. So I'm gonna stay 2-3 weeks with my mom here just sleeping, and she um, feed me with the milk, and I'm just be cut on here. After that, we had a short period. We have we call transitional period. That it comes a little before the socialization, and that's when the eyes start open, and and they start hearing things, and they become a little more curious about the environment. It's like, okay, so the world is not just here, like side by side with my mom. It's like, okay, there's something there. Let me check it out, and they are able to like being standing and go around the environment and looking stuff. And that one, the curiosity, just because dogs are very curious.
Yeah.
When the curiosity just like, okay, let me check it out. After that, we start the pre-socialization period. So I said I will not go step by step, but let's go step by
But
step.
yeah, but
Yeah,
let's just at least mention it,
yeah. The pre-socialization is, okay, I know who I am. I can stand up, I can see, I can hear, I can start investigating around. So after that, we go to the socialization, and it starts around 6-7 weeks old. So it's like, is the dog ready to go to another house? That's when start that little thin line between, I look to a 6 weeks old puppy, and apparently he's good. He can hear, he can listen, he interacts with me, so I'm gonna separate it from the mom. And that's when you start problems, because if you wait a little longer after the pre-socialization, you enter the first fear period, and you have the socialization when the dog can go to another family.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I say like it's so important you wait until minimum 8 weeks. And trust me, I see a lot of puppies going to a new family with 6-7 weeks. It's like 2 weeks it makes such huge difference. So, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, not every time it happens.
And but at least we're giving these concepts out there, putting them out there for our listeners to share with their friends and family and other pet lovers, and just open that communication. But what happens? You already have the puppy. Okay, so
Hmm.
I got the puppy. Oh my God, I didn't know anything about that. But thank God this puppy health certificate says that it's 8 weeks old,
Hmm.
and so at least it's not that bad. And but now, let's do case A. This puppy comes into a household with no pets,
Hmm.
no experience in pets. They had a pet when they were kids, and this is their first adult dog. You know that they're gonna have as adults. Part of adulting. First step. Oh, let's get a dog. Or they just got married, new house. New house needs a new dog.
Yep.
So Christmas, bam,
Yeah.
8-week-old puppy. Let's say this puppy, and I know that you're gonna say that depends on the breed, because obviously certain breeds have certain characteristics. But
Breeds and mixed breeds,
okay,
that topic.
let me pick this hypothetical puppy is a beagle,
Hmm.
and this is a household. So I
Okay.
mean, it's not an apartment, um, and there's no kids, just two young adults with a beagle. They work regular hours, 10 hours a day. They get this puppy. What are and they say, Marco, I don't know, what should I do now?
Well, I will
So
say like this: if there's no other dogs in the family, it's just two people and they work the whole day. The first thing you need to focus is teach that dog to be by himself.
okay.
And that's another mistake that I see a lot of people doing
Yes,
because
counterintuitive, because some people would say, I'm just gonna take this puppy with me everywhere. I'm just
exactly,
gonna buy a bag and put him in with me and take him to work and put him
exactly.
underneath my computer desk
And
and
it's
stuff.
it's not hard to do that. Like you say, you're talking about an 8-week puppy,
Yeah.
so it's okay. He's already ready to go to a new house at
Uh-huh.
8 weeks old. He's still living his first fear period, but that's fine. You can adapt it. This window between 8 and 10, the only thing I will recommend: don't take your puppy everywhere on like loud noises, crowns, and things like that. That's going to be my concern. But if you're at home, that's fine. That's why I said 8 weeks old is okay. Okay, if you're not
Uh-huh.
overexposing him a lot, because he's not ready for that yet. But using your example, if you cannot be at home and if you need to teach that dog to be by himself, what normally people do is like this: I'm home and the dog is with me 100% of the time.
Yeah.
I sit on the couch.
Especially with the pandemic.
Exactly. The dog is on my lap.
Hmm.
If I work in my office, the dog is on my feet. So in the moment that you need to leave, this puppy just came from his own family when he had somebody the whole time. Understand
Yeah.
that?
Another like housemate,
Exactly.
littermate.
So one thing that normally I use is like this. I tell the owner, okay, we need to teach this puppy to be by himself when you were here.
Hell yeah.
Understand? So if you are in the kitchen cooking or if you are in the living room watching a movie, the puppy doesn't need to be on your lap the whole time. Let's create a dog area in your house where he can stay there, where he sleeps there, when he eats there, when there's fun toys there, and you just pass. Sometimes you pass in front and you pat him and say good boy, and he's okay there, because the moment you need to leave and detached, he's okay in his place.
Yeah. Isn't
Understand?
more independent.
More independent, exactly. But what people do is the difference. And in the future, we're going to start having separation anxiety
Yeah.
and the dog destroying things at home.
I hate to say that, but this is what I'm thinking. The pandemic has emptied the shelters, which is a very positive thing.
Yeah.
But all of these peoples are temporarily working from home.
Just think what's going on now. Everybody's going back to work.
I know.
And the
So
puppies
once the
are like
vaccine is
freaking
out,
out.
yeah.
Exactly. I'm
Once the
sorry, I
vaccine's
interrupt
out,
you. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
but we're going. Once the vaccine's out, things will go back to normalcy. And now I don't have the puppy on top of me 24/7. So now is when the phones are gonna be ringing off the hook for you, Marco, because people are gonna be like,
They are already.
"He was perfect. What
Yeah.
happened? He was
But that's the
perfect.
thing.
Now
What
he's
I,
destroying everything."
yeah, it's like train your dog to stay in the crate. Train
Yeah.
your dog to stay in the pen. You know, if you don't like crates because you think crate is too small, I'm 100% pro crate. Okay, if you have a crate in the right side and your dog understands sleeping there and staying there, that's fine. Otherwise, you train a pen. You know, a playpen is gonna be a. You can have a very good space for your dog when he can stay there during the day. And it's not difficult to train that. You just need to create positive experience with that before you need him there.
Yes.
Because if you are on the point that I need to put my dog there because I need to go to work and I don't know what to do anymore, it's not gonna happen from today to tomorrow.
No, it's gonna
You're
be a
gonna
big process.
you're gonna need weeks. You're
Yeah.
gonna need weeks, and maybe you don't have the time now. So if you have a puppy, start right now. It's a little price to pay. Always say that. Probably already heard me saying that. It's a little price to pay now to have a better life for the next 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what I want to leave that thought out there for all the animal lovers that are listening. It The investment that you get, the return on investment of all that patience, that all that research you do into getting a pet into the house, all that animal behavior, intervention that you do with them in the beginning, desensitizing them to things in the future, all of that is going to pay off. The time that you dedicate and the money that you dedicate for training and guidance in that aspect, and even the investment in the veterinary care of the first year of age is going to have a very large return on investment. Because again, is you put it all the first year, that's the year where they go to big transformations. I mean, we're just talking 2 weeks, guys. Marcos, as
Two
Marcos
weeks.
saying, 2 weeks is a lifetime for a puppy. And so we're talking about big transformations. Every 2 weeks is something different. Until there's certain ages that they grow like weeds, and then there's certain ages that they plateau. So many things that can happen. And the one thing that is a constant is, yes, if you're patient, this will become a wonderful companion, a pet that you can take with you everywhere, that people will ask you, how do you do that? And that's what we want for everybody that got a puppy or a pet, an adoption during the pandemic, that these are not just pandemic dogs. And when this pandemic is over, the shelters will fill again. that will be horrible. That will be just a sad situation. So I'm hoping that that's not the case, that people take the time and learn how to integrate the pets in a real situation where it's a long-lived situation. I think we're coming down with the timing issue here, but we are going to continue this conversation in a second part of this conversation. So please keep in tune for the next episode, because we're going to have Marco back, and we're going to continue to talk about the pets, how to integrate your dog in your home and what steps you need to take to do so. Until I see you again, thank you, Marco, for coming and for sharing with us.
Thank you very much for having me here. Anytime you need.
And remember, Marco, give your email for people that maybe get some questions about your email. Could you just say your emails, and we'll try to put a link in there.
Sure. The email is the Orchid Springs email. It's marcoosa.vets at gmail.com. And you can go to my website too. Is idtcdogtraining.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming and spending some time with me today. And we're going to continue the conversation. And so to our listeners, just subscribe, share this episode. And we're going to post we recorded this. So we're going to post it and everywhere.
Everywhere.
the Orchid Springs Animal Hospital YouTube channel, my YouTube channel,
YouTube channel.
Yeah, everybody.
Everywhere.
So it's going to be everywhere. Okay. Thank you so much. And until we meet again, stay safe.